It's a #1 priority for us.
Police in South Brunswick tonight releasing new surveillance video of the truck at the center of this mystery. Watch as it pulls over along Route 130 this afternoon. It's hard to make out, but a woman then pops out of the passenger side window. Police say an alert customer at a car dealership noticed something out of place.
They pull to the side. He notices something's a little off of it that catches his eye. Then he notices upon closer investigation that a woman tries to hop out of the bobtail truck, and he's looking at her and believes that she's injured, possibly some kind of laceration on her forehead or in the area of her face, and she appears to be in distress.
Police say the woman was kicking and screaming for help. Watch as the man tries to get closer. The truck takes off. Its whereabouts now unknown.
How close was she to getting out of the cab?
She, as far as I understand, she was out of the cab and was yanked back in.
Investigators believe they're looking for a 2006 through 2018 Volvo or Mack bobtail truck with possible New Jersey tags. It's white with arced blue writing on the side. At the time, it did not have a trailer attached to the cab.
Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema wants some changes to that major Democratic spending bill in exchange for her vote. And seeing as she could single-handedly block this bill, well, Democrats may not have much of a choice. Sinema wants to lose a provision that closes a tax loophole favored by hedge fund managers and private equity firms. If Democrats concede, the wealthiest Americans will continue to pay less in taxes. That change could trim about $14 billion from the spending package. Joining me now, NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor and NBC News Capitol Hill reporter Ali Vitale. Sahil, let's start with you. What are you learning about Senator Sinema's motivations here? Why does she want to keep this loophole open?
It's hard to say, Joe. Sinema has never publicly explained her support for the carried interest tax break, and my attempts over the last year now to get her office to comment on it have not been successful. And so it's left to people close to her to try to make sense of this. A former Sinema aide I spoke to said she gets a lot of campaign contributions from business and financial elites, and no doubt that a lot of them are in her ear about this. This former aide also said she tends to be quite stubborn about her positions, that once she makes up her mind on something, she's not known for changing it, and that she doesn't really care about criticism from her Democratic base. In fact, she tends to enjoy them. Now, the irony of this, Joe, is that carried interest is not essential mathematically to making this bill work. If you think of this Democratic bill as a meal, this is essentially the dessert in the meal. You can remove it and you can still pass the rest of it. Revenue-wise, the essential component of this bill, what I would consider the steak in the meal, is this corporate minimum tax of 15%. That is something that Kyrsten Sinema publicly came out for last October. And so if she remains as stubborn in support of that as she is in opposition to other things, Democrats have a path to getting this bill done, regardless of what they end up doing with carried interest. And of course, here in Arizona, business lobbyists are going on the air with a major pressure campaign targeted at Sinema, trying to get her to oppose that corporate minimum tax. I put all this to her office, and her spokesperson said only that Sinema will make every decision based on only one criteria: what is good for Arizona. Joe.
I never meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to put in jeopardy the Russian population. I never meant to break any laws here.
Months ago, he directed his national security team to pursue every avenue to bring her home safely, to her family, friends, and loved ones. This has been top of mind for the president. He receives daily updates about the status of her negotiations to secure Brittney's release.
She's not a political pawn. She's not a martyr. She is not a figurehead. She is a real person who deserves so much more. Her story is our story. Her safety is our safety.
don't judge somebody who wears flip-flops and boardies. So I don't want to be judged because I wear a scarf on my head. I'm as Australian as they are. I'm the first hijab-wearing Muslim senator in the history of Australian politics.
Who would have thought that a young woman born in Afghanistan and the daughter of a refugee would be standing in this chamber today?
It's quite significant because, you can't be what you can't see. It feels like people's hopes are just tied into this position. They're looking up to me. He would always talk about politics. It was always, I'll take you back to Afghanistan and get you elected, and so we can improve people's lives there, just because he never thought I stood a chance in Australia. Mum couldn't stop crying, bless her. All she said was, your dad would have been so proud.
100 years ago, let alone 10 years ago, would this parliament have been as accepting?
Oh, what on earth? Thank you, Minister. Senator Hanson.
I'm quite happy to remove this because
it was such a disrespectful stunt to all Muslims. Aside from the First Nations people, we are all immigrants. So even Senator Hanson and her family heritage, they've come from somewhere.
I am young, I am progressive, and my family were born overseas. I am a representative of modern Australia.
I do believe that one day, the fact that an MP or senator wears a hijab will not make headlines. So that's what I hope to achieve.
The Department of Justice has charged 4 current and former Louisville, Kentucky police officers with federal crimes related to the Breonnataylor's death.
Members of the Place-Based Investigations Unit falsified the affidavit used to obtain the search warrant of Ms. Taylor's home, that this act violated federal civil rights laws, and that those violations resulted in Ms. Taylor's death. Specifically, we allege that Ms. Taylor's Fourth Amendment rights were violated when defendants Joshua Janes, Kyle Meany, and Kelly Goodlett sought a warrant to search Ms. Taylor's home knowing that the officers lacked probable cause for the search.
I want to go right to NBC's Ken Delaney, and also with me, former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuaid. Ken, the Attorney General said that Breonnataylor should have been alive today. Take us through the details of these indictments.
Yeah, Andrea, this is a major indictment by the Department of Justice today in a case where no one was charged by the state directly in Breonnataylor's death. Recall that one officer was charged with wantonly firing his weapon in a way that endangered neighbors, but was acquitted. So what we have in front of us today is a civil rights set of civil rights charges against 3 officers that the Justice Department says conspired to falsify the warrant application that led those officers to raid that house and where Breonnataylor was sleeping, and recall that her boyfriend thought there were intruders, had a weapon, fired a warning shot, and then officers poured fire into that apartment, and Breonnataylor was killed. And so the lead detective who has been fired by the Louisville Police Department, Joshua Janes, wrote in the March 2020 warrant application that he verified with the U.S. Postal Inspector that Taylor's ex-boyfriend, a man suspected of dealing drugs, received packages at her address. An internal investigation found that Janes did not personally verify that information, and he instead relied on another officer's word that proved to be false. And that was an internal police investigation. He's now been charged with civil rights violations based on those facts, Andrea. And the Justice Department also alleged that these men conspired to mislead state, local, and federal investigators as they tried to piece together what happened here. So some very major charges in a case that has really provoked a lot of angst and protest in that community in Louisville.
turn now to breaking news overnight. China firing missiles near Taiwan. The exercise is following Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip there. Our forward correspondent, James Longman, is tracking the latest. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Hours after Nancy Pelosi left Taiwan, China has for the first time launched massive military drills using live fire all around the island. Chinese state media showed these pictures. They show Beijing launching their Dongfeng missiles directly into waters east, northeast and southwest of the island. Taiwanese military is saying China launched 11 ballistic missiles in just a 2-hour period. Now, these are long-range weapons capable of traveling hundreds of miles, and it's thought these military drills are likely to last 3 days. Some flights are being cancelled. Commercial shipping has had to be rerouted, and we're hearing reports of cyber attacks inside Taiwan as well. Now, a Chinese spokeswoman has said the drills were in response to what she called collusion between the United States and Taiwan. Now, this is a self-governing democracy, but China claims it as part of its own. And Nancy Pelosi was the most senior U.S. official to visit since the late 1990s. Now, all this is concerning because it shows just how quickly China can launch these kinds of exercises, and it also demonstrates what China might do in the future if it were to launch military action by essentially causing a maritime blockade. Robin?
All right, James, our thanks.